Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. This is Gina. So Donald Trump had a very bad, not so good, horrible week last week. First, Steve Bannon was arrested. He faces up to probably, I think it's like 40 years in prison for fraud, and God knows what he has on Trump that he'd be willing to trade in exchange for his freedom. And if I were Bannon, I wouldn't bank on the fact that Trump's going to win and be able to pardon me or let me off the hook like he did with Roger Stone, because things aren't looking too good for Trump's reelection. But then audio leaked with Trump's own sister, who was a federal judge. She said that, among other things, that he is cruel, he has no principles. She confirmed a rumor that had been going around and said that he wasn't smart enough to get into college. He had to pay someone to take the SATs for him. Coming from your own family members who know you best, that's not good. To top it all off, Trump was then ordered to pay Stormy Daniels, who used to be an adult film star, $44,100 to cover her legal fees after their long, drawn-out legal battles together. And of course, this involved the non-disclosure agreement regarding their alleged one-night stand. So this case has a lot of twists and turns, but essentially, Stormy Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, alleged that she had a one-night stand with Trump while his wife, Melania, was pregnant with their son, Barron. This came out anyway around the time of the election, or I think it was right after the election. And she claims that she was paid $130,000 in hush money just prior to the election, so her story wouldn't go public and hurt Trump's chances of becoming president. Well, her claims have been corroborated. They were corroborated by Trump's longtime fixer and attorney, Michael Cohen. He actually went to prison because of his involvement in this illegal activity. In part, he went to prison for other things too, but part of the charges brought against him were the fact that he used campaign donations and illegally funneled them to Stephanie Clifford. So he set up a shell corporation. He took money from Trump, from the campaign, and funneled it through this shell corporation to pay her off. And in 2018, Clifford sued Trump. She was trying to get out of the non-disclosure agreement so that she could talk to news outlets and sell her story or do whatever she wanted with it. And Trump eventually, after a lot of finagling, he agreed not to countersue, and he agreed not to take any further legal action to enforce the NDA if Clifford would just drop everything. Now, the funny thing is that Trump still maintains that he wasn't a party to this and he had nothing to do with her, that they never had an affair, he never slept with her, he never paid her off. Yet at one point, he threatened to sue her for violating the NDA. So how does that work? Either you are a party to it or you're not. Either it is your NDA, either you did have this woman sign it, or you didn't. How do you enforce an NDA that you're not a party to? And of course, he tries to pretend, because the name on the NDA was David Dennison. Now, we found out through court proceedings and Michael Cohen's own testimony that David Dennison was just a name that he used on documents like this when he was trying to conceal the real identity of the man involved. So if you aren't David Dennison, then how can you enforce and sue Clifford for violating the non-disclosure agreement? But in any case, we all know Trump is full of shit. In any case, after Trump agreed not to countersue and he said he wouldn't enforce the NDA, the lawsuit was dismissed and the courts deemed that the NDA was unenforceable. Well, now Judge Robert Broadbelt III has ruled that Clifford was the prevailing party, and she's therefore entitled to have her legal fees covered by Trump. And since Trump reimbursed Cohen for the $130K, he owes the money. He is a party to this. Also, Trump completely screwed himself. So in all of this finagling, Trump said, no, this, because Clifford also brought a defamation lawsuit against Trump because he called her a liar. So she sued him for defamation, saying, no, this really happened and you're lying about me and you're slandering me. So part of that defamation suit was Trump saying, well, this really shouldn't be handled in court. This should be handled by an arbitrator, because that was what was stipulated in the NDA. Part of the NDA language said that if there's any dispute, which is common verbiage in an NDA, if there's any dispute, it will go before an arbitrator rather than the courts. Well, by doing that, again, Trump essentially admitted to being a party to this NDA, to the agreement. I mean, you can't say, no, that wasn't me. I'm not David Dennison, but I want to hold her to the letter of the law under the NDA. I want to go before an arbitrator because that's what it said in the NDA that I claim I didn't sign. I mean, he's just too stupid for words. But anyway, that's where it stands, guys. A drop in the bucket for someone like Trump who claims to have billions, but yeah. So it was not a good week for him. As always, like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.